Hi everyone, it's Evan here from the Trade Risk on Tuesday, February 14th, intraday with a few trade ideas that I want to point out that are hitting my watch list, hitting my radar. Before we get into those trade ideas, let's take a quick look here at the S&P 500. And you can see we have another day of gains in front of us right now, at least intraday. And we've seen now 5 straight days in a row where we've seen higher prices, a clean breakout from prior resistance here right around 229.50, and a nice little extension away from the 8 period and the 20 period. We're above the upper Bollinger Band, so we're in fairly frothy territory. Path of least resistance clearly higher. We can continue to grind higher. The chase can continue on, but you do want to be a little selective here if you're putting on new long exposure. Just understand the ground that we've just covered in the past week or so, and just know that you're bidding up here if you are putting on new trades. It can work. You can enter in partial positions, depends on the time frame. There's a lot of sort of caveats depending on how you want to address new exposure, but I know for me, for my style and time frame, I'm being very selective, not looking to really add into any new strength here. I have positions on, and I'd rather just continue to reduce exposure as we continue to extend ourselves here in the short term. So with that said, let's look at some trade ideas. They're all on the long side, so that's why I kind of put that little disclaimer there that you may want to just keep them on the watch list. If we get a market pullback, you might be able to get better entries into some of these ideas that we're going to look at, and that's the way I would sort of look at this. So GPN, this is the first one. If we look at the weekly chart real quick, we're at all-time highs. It's been in a monster uptrend since 2012, 2013. If we go back to that daily time frame, you can see so we're bumping up against this trend line right here, which is on the door of all-time highs. $78 was long-term resistance for almost a year's time. We are above $78, but you can see the $79 and $80 area has been sort of troublesome as well. A couple of stints above there in the past. So GPN, it's getting tight, hanging up near highs. Top end of this range, I like it. Something that's on my watch list, maybe for a trigger eventually above $80 down the road. If we get a little bit of a market pullback, maybe it has to kind of come back in, resettle itself, and then make another run at $80 in the next week or two. That'd be something that would interest me. So that one is number one. Second, Lulu. This one has just recently hit my radar again, just because it's getting so tight in this little triangle here. It's had a series of gaps and some pretty wide movement recently, I think due to earnings here on this latest one in December. But you can see we're kind of coming to an inflection point, price action getting pretty tight. It is holding the gap from December, so perhaps we get an upside resolve and then come back and kind of fill this gap from September, or maybe it breaks back down and rolls over. I'm not sure. Something that I'm just paying attention to. Price action is tight, and when you have that compression in price action, it's something that I want to look for a potential breakout candidate. Next is ACIA. This one has been beaten up pretty hard ever since September of 2016. It's been in a downtrend in this channel, but recently, I just want to point this one out, is the uptick in volume over the past 2 days. Something that's fairly notable. It's at resistance. It's at this trend line now, so I don't love the entry today. It's not something I'd go out there and buy today, but again, it's something that I want to pay attention to. 8 and 20 period starting to curl back over, so I think this one could be interesting. It is a fast mover, so if it starts to get back in play on the long side, that could be a nice trading vehicle ahead of us. And then finally, BEN. So BEN has been on my watch list for a little while now. If you go to the weekly chart, I think this tells the good story. It's trying to bottom out here throughout 2016. It basically spent the entire time trying to carve out a bottom. And you can see it had a little double bottom here in February and July, put in a higher low in November, and then it ran right up to resistance, and it's been consolidating right up against resistance here for the past 2 or 3 months. So now with this weekly close, you can see we're starting to lift back above this recent range, this recent resistance level. I like BEN for a longer term breakout trade, and it's something that I'm paying attention to. So hope this video helps, gives you some ideas. As always, thank you guys for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please do so on the bottom right hand corner to our channel, and I will talk to you again soon.